Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
I was at Home Depot the other day and I ran into a contractor type that I know it through AmSpirit Business Connections. Maybe not obviously, but obvious to me, I know lots of these sorts of people. So I ran into the contractor and I said, what are you working on? And he told me that really nothing. He said, I'm just here getting ideas. There's always different things coming out. He's looking at magazines, looking at books, likes to watch the home shows. And he likes to walk through Home Depot from time to time when he has spare time. And he doesn't have much of it because he's good and busy. But when he has time, he likes to walk through and he likes to kind of see what's there, what's new, different gadgets, new and improved, whatever, to give him ideas on how to tackle problems. And, when I like to try to be handy around the house, and I find myself ruminating over things that somebody with experience can solve in a minute, and that's what this contractor type does. He's always learning, and I don't care who you are, whether you're insurance or mortgage or realtor or life coach, business coach, fractional CFO, fractional ITO or whatever. We're always trying to work on our craft. I mean, if you're not working on your craft, life is going to pass you by. It's just that simple. I'm a networking person. I'm a relationship person. I look at lots of different things with respect to relationships. I'm no different than the contractor. I'm always kind of, reading, standing in the grocery store checkout line, looking at magazines, looking for articles on relationships, whatever I can find, just to try and become better at better at working with people, better at helping them understand relationships. It's just that's just human nature. For me, it wasn't always that way. When I was a tax consultant, the whole notion of networking and relationships really weren't even on my radar. It wasn't until I left that I really kind of understood the notion. But when you're a tax consultant, at least in the role I was in, it's, you had a job to do. The clients were there, so I wasn't looking to get clients. I was looking to serve clients. And you go out and here's a problem. You go solve the problem. You leave. You get them a bill, and you're on to the next problem. I would get together with clients. I didn't really know anything about my clients, shame on me looking back. But that wasn't something that we really talked about. Get in there and really try to understand the problem. But now I see it through a different lens, and I'm not saying I probably could have been better. The whole industry could have been better, can be better. But that's all part of learning. And so I'm constantly on the lookout for things. And I recently came across something, a study that was done. And what it talks about is it was published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology, 2024. But what it talked about is how you can impact somebody, how you can impact people in your network, how you can cheer them up, how you can really make somebody's day in a hurry. And what they found is that small gifts do the trick, right? Small gifts like candy or flowers are more impactful than a supportive conversation. They're perceived as a greater sacrifice than the conversation, because when we give people gifts or when we get gifts, we're we 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 know that somebody had to specifically focus on us or on them if somebody else is getting them, and it's for their benefit only. You know, obviously the gifts, and I just read an article that Bob Berg put out talking about adding value to people and the value that we add to people, the gifts we give need to be something that's of perceived value to them. Not perceived value to us, it's got to be perceived value to them. So if I have, somebody does something for me and it's like, I'm going to send them a little box of chocolates. They're not from in Columbus, Ohio State University, the Buckeyes. There's a candy out there called a Buckeye. It's a little ball of peanut butter dipped in chocolate. I'm not a Buckeye fan. I'm not a Ohio State Buckeye fan, but the Buckeyes are good, right? And so if I'm going to send something to somebody outside the area, that's something and I know they like candy, or that's something that they would appreciate, then that's something worthwhile to send. If I send them a wrench, it's probably not something that they're going to appreciate. Now, somebody might appreciate a wrench, right? I could see, for example, my daughter's off. She's living on her own. She's accumulating tools. To send her a tool might be something that she would appreciate. I know when my dad would send me tools, be like, oh, this is cool, right? I can use this. Um, so so the little things you're doing really need to be adding value that are in alignment with they need to perceive the value in it. They need to know that, yeah, you put a little bit of thought into it. They said something, they did something, there was something about them, and the gift is somewhat related to them. And you put time, you put thought into it, and it's for them. You're not giving them concert tickets where they're going to take you to the concert. Um, you're not giving them a coupon for a free consultation to try and sell them something. It's theirs, and it's for them. And what they find is that really can boost somebody's mood, especially if you're sneaking up. When I say sneaking up, I don't mean sneaking up behind them, but just doing something out of the blue, something someone just absolutely would not expect, is going to happen. And we have the ability to do these sorts of things. I realize a lot of people work from home, or a lot of people, well, yeah, they work from home. They don't necessarily advertise on their business card, or on their website where they're at. So if you're going to send them something, it makes it a little bit more difficult, although there are electronic means of doing those sorts of things. Um, but these small little gifts, um, have a big impact on people. And what the research involved was seven separate studies that had 81 pairs of friends who um, made actual real life sacrifices of time or money. Um, and what they found is that the conversations don't feel as personal to the receiver as a gift. Uh, the gifts appear to be more of a sacrifice to the receiver and just have more impact. Now, I guess it would depend upon what the conversation was about, and again, it gets back to what people perceive. If somebody is really really ruminating over a problem in their life, a relationship problem, or something at work, trying to figure out what they should do, then maybe the time is more impactful. But just the general conversation of just having a conversation with somebody, they want the gift. Give me the gift. Now there's a warning to all of this. A warning in the study is, um, we can go too far with our gift giving, and if we spend too much, you know there's a law of diminishing returns. I'm not exactly sure where it's at. It probably varies from person to person, but if we spend too much, it makes the person feel indebted, or maybe even guilty. Um, And so, you know, things like, boat trip or a spa treatment, I guess those could be perceived as partially selfish if we're going on the boat trip with them or doing the spa treatment with them. But the I guess the point is that expensive gifts may feel good to us for giving, but they're not any more appreciated than the ones that are the less expensive ones. I guess so. There's just a lot more impact to the little box of chocolates, or hey, you had, and it can even be a link to an article. I saw this article. It made me think of the conversation we had. I think, you can add this to the information that you have. Wow, somebody's thinking about me. So as you work to build your network and make your network better and the relationships in your networks better, think about the little gifts. Think about the little gifts that you can do. Head to the dollar store, whatever, books. Just doesn't have to be anything really expensive. It's truly the thought that counts. It's truly the thought that counts.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.